You want to do the clap? Well, welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the short delay. We've had a lot going on. Literally, some construction happened next door.
They tore down a house
next door to us. Yeah.
So, and big trees.
If you listen to some of our earlier episodes, we had complaint
about calling police and things like that.
Forgot we had some reverb there. Anyway, we had some complaints about our neighbors. It just seemed like it's very hard to live your life when you have someone who constantly shoots their gun, and they're not killing anybody. It is a bit disturbing.
Okay, yeah. The last time that we talked about it was episode 15. We titled "We Did Not Call the Police This Time," and then our first one, I think we talked about it, was episode 11, "Why We Called the Police." And yeah, so there we go. That pretty much. You can go to those and you can get the backstory on our experience with our next door neighbors. Yeah, and we also found out they got evicted. So
yes,
and then now they tore down the house.
Yes, and we actually found out that the police are very nice. We didn't want to get to know the police, but at least they're very nice and they're trying to do their best with what they have. But now that the house is gone, also there was we call a Christmas party, and they were having a blast.
Yeah, no, they're right behind us in the room that we record in, and I mean we were waiting. Like it started it was like 8-ish.
Yes.
And we're like, okay, well maybe later after 10, and then we're after 11, and it was nearing midnight, and I'm going like, I have to wake up in the morning and take our daughter to school. I can't do it. So yeah. So that would be why we are a little late with putting it out. I mean, eventually we want to get to the point where we don't have this problem because we have we're not waiting to last minute to record. But, when you have full-time jobs and, family.
This is a true DIY shop here. This is kind of how we make it on our own. So this is how we're doing it. There's no recording studio. You're hearing the realness, I guess. If that's a thing, the realness of the world from us. Anywho, let's get to, part of our topic today. And going on to that, congratulations, Laura, on becoming, getting the second place award and making your now award-winning chili.
Second out of 7 or 8.
Still pretty good. Pretty good.
All right, so our daughter had a Winter Wonderland showcase tonight, and they were doing a chili cook-off. And so, we all... there were certain parents, I think there was 7 or 8 of them, that made chili and or soup. Some of them weren't, I guess, chili, but
they all thought it was chili.
Yeah. So
they all thought it was chili. It may not have been.
And then everybody that came in got to sample a little bit of it, and and they had 3 tokens, and they get to choose who and stuff. And so ours apparently came down to a tiebreaker. And so we ended up getting second place, but still, I had a lot of people that were like, that was really good. So
yeah, I mean, it was really cool to see the kids get really excited too. So they go in there, drop the little coin in our buckets. Yeah. That was really nice. I think I can't say one thing is really perky. I'm glad they said it. It was really close, and it came down to a tiebreaker. Yeah. And so even though we won second place, we still feel like first place in our hearts. Yeah. So.
Yep.
So
that was pretty cool. Hey, and being the time of holidays and cooking and all that fun stuff. So,
Well, we had a kind of a trouble trying to come up with a topic for today. And we got a mishmash of...
Well, we have a lot of things that we want to talk about, and we're just trying to figure out which ones to talk about.
Yeah. So here's what I think would be best. We just touch on a bit of everything. A little here, there, a little something here, a little something there. I mean, we're known for our rambles and, how entertaining they can be. So, one thing we want to talk about was, or at least I brought up as a topic, was the food and technology. Now, for the last couple years now, I can now admit that the microwave is my secondary device.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, we certainly cook with a lot of microwave. For many years, too, we did the George Foreman. I mean, that was our go-to.
Oh, yes.
And until we found a replacement for it. But yeah, I mean, I do cook food, but I'm not like an every night cooking. And I mean, even like once a week, we throw stuff together and we eat like salads or, soups or things like that, but just not necessarily all of us eat the same thing.
For the most part, we're just living our lives. So the simple foods and stuff like that. Like one of trying to think what was one of the things that we stirred away from, and that was cooking with oil a lot, because we'd use that for like French fries or something like that.
Well, yeah, it was years ago, but we were walking in Walmart and they have that section where like, the as seen on TV or whatever. It was when they had just started doing that, a couple of years ago. And we saw this, there was one huge box and we're like, oh, what's that? And, we looked at it and it was an oilless fryer. And we were like, that's interesting.
It was around the same time when we was some kind of diet. It was related like, what is going to be healthier instead of putting all that oil on our food?
I think we were trying keto or something at that point.
Yes.
And so we ended up getting it. And man, it's now, I think it might be number one ahead of our microwave.
Yes, I mean,
we can do everything with that thing, and the fact that it like you put like, I hate when you go to a restaurant and you get leftovers from the restaurant and you bring it home and you cook it and it's like, it's like
pizza, number one offender of that. I mean, if you didn't get good pizza the first time you got it, you definitely got cardboard the second time you tried to, finish it up because you're hungry. But I distinctly remember having pineapple pizza, stuck it in the air fryer, came back out. It was just like it came right out the box. I mean, I was, maybe maybe a notch less, but still really dang good. I mean, for like a day old pizza.
Yeah. I think like the worst thing I ever tried to reheat was always like fries from a restaurant.
Oh,
they would never. I almost never would bring them home because it like was pointless. But I did that I put it in there, and I mean, I was like, wow, damn, like that's like even better.
Oh my god.
So it's our staple now. Like we've gotten lots of other people that we know to buy these things too, because we're like, because we constantly are, raving about it.
There was one time we got wings like from like some Uber situation, and we got the wings and they weren't
cold.
Well, they weren't cold. They weren't hot. They weren't really, they weren't at the top tier premium quality that I want my wings. Popped into the air fryer, that crispiness that took away that sogginess that was on the wings and then I start eating them way better. It fixes food even after it's delivered.
And the thing is, there's a lot more of them now. The oilless fryers or whatever you can find. I know a lot of people that know about them, but we got it when it wasn't even a thing. Like, nobody knew what the heck this thing was.
And when you describe this to people, it's like, what are you doing?
Like, how do you fry it without oil and and things like that? I'm like, I don't know.
I literally open, like, you get the bag out the freezer from Walmart or name your grocery store. You just dump it in there, you turn the knob, and it's done. I mean, like, you can't do that with the microwave with French fries. You can try.
In our very first fryer, that it was the Big Boss one. Brand. And I mean, we had that thing for, good God, like 3 or 4 years, maybe even more than that. We had it for a long time. Yeah,
it's mainly just like a glass bottom, and I think that's pretty much it. When a little what do you call those? A little cart, a crate thing inside of it, a little metal a foundation for your food to sit on.
Great.
That was it. Yeah. And an egg timer with a light bulb. You wouldn't really expect much out of that scenario, but it was used so often. I mean, I think my microwave maybe started feeling lonely. If the only thing I don't use the air fryer for, and maybe one day I'll be brave enough to try it, is I don't cook my hot dogs in an air fryer. Don't really see a purpose for that,
Yeah.
So I'll still use the microwave for that.
I mean, there's some things like I don't put like bacon or anything like that in there either.
I do. I use bacon.
You do?
Yeah,
I haven't. I still microwave bacon too, and I do it to make them crispy. Like it's crazy. Like the fact that my microwave can make my bacon crispy. But it does, and it's so much easier than putting it in a pan, and it's spits the grease at you everywhere. Like, no, I'm good.
That may be why I use the air fryer, because I kind of like that little juiciness that's on there.
Although we do use a lot of stovetop foods too. So
yeah,
we just, I think maybe once every few years do something in our oven.
I think we have the oven as decoration. I mean,
yeah, right?
It's there, but then again, let's go into like the other thing, because we replaced the Big Boss one with a now new, and I don't know the name of it.
That's Ninja.
Oh yes, the Ninja. So now we got an air fryer, a steamer,
it's a crock pot, and it does a bunch of stuff. Yeah. It's like, this thing is like a beast in of itself. Like, it's crazy.
I mean, in the same machine, I'm both baking my food and then I'm pouring water into it in order
steaming
to
it.
Yeah. Pressure. I had that with the chicken, which I know you don't like the chicken like soft. You like it like crispy. But
yes, I do. Me.
What I've done, and I apologize because we had a secondary from a previous episode. We had the hot sauce when on your interview, and
yep. Well, not the previous one.
No, but not the previous, but on our older episode there, Laura, I was interviewing Laura, and in the middle of that, near the end, she has this hot sauce.
Yes.
And that gets a loud reaction from her. And, anyway, here's what happened. I put my the water and stuff and a little bit of oils and whatever into the bottom, and I thought, you know what, I'm curious if I can put this spicy stuff in there and it can like bake into the meat or cook into the meat, and without putting hot sauce directly on the chicken, that what I get is like, a spicy inside and out experience.
Episode 21, interview with Laura. That's mine.
Oh, yes.
And then episode 22 is the one where I interviewed Xavier. So
if you listen through that episode, that reoccurred when I let her try that. So it works very well.
Yes. It wasn't quite as bad as the other one, but I mean, I took a very small bite of this chicken. I didn't taste chicken whatsoever. like there was chicken in there, because all that happened was like explosion inside my mouth, and he's all like, "Oh yeah, it's not that bad." Like, bullshit.
The facial expression is like, well, I was like,
yeah. Both times he's gotten me to try hot sauce, he has not recorded me yet.
But you know what? She's building her tolerance.
Sure. Okay.
She's getting stronger and
yeah, I'm avoiding it better.
Going into like the food technology realm, kind of the things that we kind of steer away from. What I kind of like with what we've done is we took the microwave model and we've kind of pushed that to the back burner. Now I know,
feel like the microwave, it's old technology. It's been around a long time.
Yeah.
And actually, like, at some point, I would love to get one of those, like, they have like these convection oven kind of things that they're like microwave toasters kind of things.
Yeah.
And I would like to get one of those. It's kind of like, they do similar things. There's some of them, at least. Not just like toast ones, but like they do microwave type stuff in them, but you can also like do toast and, different things like that.
The funny thing is like that's
They're
exactly
just expensive.
Well, everything's expensive when you don't have the money. But one thing I find is that okay, like this air fryer, it does a lot more than our microwave does. Then there's like this other easy bake oven thing. Does a lot more. And what I find is the problem is eventually you get to the point where you have all this extra stuff, but you have all this traditional stuff just taking up space. Like, we don't really use our oven. For us, it would be better if we just had 2 shelves for more storage.
Yeah.
Instead. Or, and I have seen like, there's this microwave kind of box thing, but it does baking, or you can put turkey or steak in it, and it does that too. But it's literally like a shelf, so you pull it out, drop your food in, then close the drawer, and that's how it works. So I think,
the thing is, it's like, and really, we do have a lot of. The oven is it's still huge, and there are obviously reasons to use it, but even people who like cook turkeys and things like that every now and again, they usually have like an actual, like these big turkey kind of, they're meant for the turkey by itself because it cooks it better, the meat more tender and all that than the oven would. So there are a lot of things that are being created now that are a great replacement for the oven part of itself. Not necessarily the stovetop, but the oven part of it.
Well, Matt, could you imagine if, like, we just remove the oven like that? I think that's kind of almost, for most people, if you're a chef out there, you're probably going nuts. Like, no, you don't remove the oven. There's so much you can do with it. I understand. But for people like me, people like my wife, we don't use the oven off that much. In fact, what it feels like it's just a big waste of space. Now, when it comes to Thanksgiving, maybe some of the Thanksgivings will have a turkey, but most Thanksgivings, we don't even do it for that reason. We're not baking cakes. Like, why do we have this big giant thing?
We do cookies in it and things like that. So I guess that would be the thing, that we would need it for.
We can actually probably do cookies in the air fryer. It has, I'm not even joking. It has a bake option. Like,
yeah, you're right. It does. I mean, you can make a cake in it. We were looking at a bunch of different things. And it even says like they have a recipe for making a chicken pot pie. Like, good God. Like,
so I mean, like the
casseroles.
Was it? It was the macaroni with the little.
Oh yeah, the baked macaroni and cheese
that looks
one.
So good.
Yeah.
You can still do so much. And this is, a lot of these items that, it's that this smaller machine does can be done inside the bigger machine, which makes you kind of wonder, why am I keeping this thing? Now I understand there's the house value and stuff like that, and having nice shiny machines keeps your house valuable. But it's like, well, why don't I just wait until I'll just take that out, put some drawers in, and when I want to sell the place, I'll actually buy one and then resell it then. But I feel like it's such a big waste. Like, I feel like putting anything there, putting a shoe rack there would be more beneficial. Actually, that'd be a horrible idea. Get the whole kitchen smelling like feet. But you get what I'm saying, right? I feel like our new advancement, our new technologies aren't taking traditional spots or replacing traditional spots in the home.
Well, and the thing is, like, there should be, there used to be back in the day, and then you still have some homes that have them, but they have like these appliance hideaway areas. Yeah. Because that's the thing, like, we have, as a nation now, I mean, we have so many appliances that don't get, you have the natural things that get put in the stove, the oven, the microwave and the refrigerator. But, a lot of us have toasters, Keurigs now.
And it just sits out on the counter.
Yeah, like convection ovens, or you have to like hide it up under, but you have to wait for it to cool down before you can go put it up under. I mean, crock pots, all these things, and we have no places to put them.
I want to replace some of these things because, like, our air fryer, it's better than our microwave. Why can't we have a air fryer equivalent of the microwave?
I know exactly what it is I want them to make. I want them to make me the thing from Star Trek where I tell it what I want, and it makes it for me. There we go. That's technology people out there. Make that.
3D printing food. Is that what we're trying to do? Well, we're not far from that.
I know,
we're not.
we are far from it being like FDA approved.
that could be too. I can imagine you put in a burrito and it's a different type of leaf that's in that plant.
And plus, who knows what kind of long-term effects, genetically, we already have GMO, genetically modified food or whatever, but the long-term effects of eating 3D printed food, I have no idea.
I almost feel like I would trust it because the stuff we're already eating is already questionable. I mean, if you think about it, how much high fructose corn syrup is in this? That's
the other thing we have, the soda stream, where it makes my soda. Well, instead of buying soda, I get the water and they put the carbonate in it, and then so
basically this is a device that you can DIY make your soda at home. You get your flavors, and then you get like the carbonation, and then you just make your sodas.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be a healthier version, and it probably is. It's just that it's still not great, obviously. Like,
the biggest problem with it is it's a hassle to get all the maintenance.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt to put it all together. Like, it's like I get a little 2-liter thing of it. I mean, I'm going to drink that 2 liter probably in a day.
Because you drink sodas fast.
I think it's 2 liters. I don't know, whatever.
Well, like
it's not a huge amount.
Yeah, you can go to the store and for a couple bucks, get yourself a 16 pack.
Yeah.
The one thing you can't do with that with the Soda Stream is instantly make a 16 pack, and that's what I think we need in the house is something to make.
Well, I mean, they're starting to come up with like Keurig kind of things where like you can mix an alcoholic drink and actually I saw a Keurig too that I thought was really cool. Like, man,
we also have a Keurig, by the way.
Yeah, no, they have a Keurig where you can put baby formula in it.
Oh,
and make
yes,
baby bottles. So like in the perfect temperature. I mean, I'm sure you have to make sure that it's still not hot or whatever. I'm like, dude, I would have paid whatever amount of money possible to do that when our daughter was little.
For those who do not have children, you just understand that if you ever do have this point, you just buy this ahead of time. If you look at the little stick and it says a plus sign, just buy this thing. You will not regret this advice.
Well, I mean, not everybody feeds their babies formula, and we try to do the breastfeeding, but I ended up getting an infection and couldn't get milk out. So, then we had to substitute with baby formula. But yep, if you have to feed your baby formula, I'd say that thing is worth every freaking penny. There are so many times where it's like, you're having to like hold it under the faucet.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Right. You got her in your hand. You got to make this. You only have one hand available and you're trying to like hold the bottle right, turn and rotate, open up the lid, get the powder out. Yep. Mix it well, whatever. Test it on your wrist. Oh my God! Like there's something else that needs to be added in. What I think this podcast is slowly coming into is we need to update the kitchen. We're using the kitchen from 1950s today, and we need to stop and really look at what we need in there.
I mean, technically, there's a lot of things that are like that, especially around the house. I mean, there are, styles, things that we use, things that are just like very like, why do we still do it that way? Yeah.
Actually, it was I was going to say sweeping, but sweeping is one of them. You can get yourself a Roomba. We have these automatic vacuums that are out there. Why aren't there more of those out there? That seems to make more sense for any average person who's out and about. If you can, pick up after yourself, it's not going to suck up your t-shirts. Well,
I mean, and the other thing is though that there's been issues with some of them because like there are people who've left. Say your cat throws up, right? And it comes and picks up the cat throw up. And then it spreads it all around. It does that. It does that with poo, apparently too. I've read a lot of issues with that, where like because it doesn't sense things that it's not supposed to.
So it pretty much looks for just dry things.
It'll pick up whatever is in its path. It just goes along a path. Obviously, if it runs into obstacles, it'll go around it or something. But it doesn't consider like poo or anything like that or Play-Doh.
Well, then
slime. I mean, if they had slime on the ground, kids. I mean, not to mention Legos. Holy crud! If your kid left Legos on there, can you imagine what kind of damage that does to a Roomba?
Well, I guess it depends on how it's built and stuff. But I'll have you know, they do have like a robotic. It's not a Roomba, but it's one that does what the carpet cleaner does. So it sprays liquid and it's made for wet things. That would actually clear up a lot of those problems. So I do think that the industry's, at least for that part of the industry, probably needs to develop and work harder on the situations. Maybe not too much replacing all the basics, but I do think we should head in that direction and get prepared for it. I mean, as much as in the US, we have this idea of what a home should look like, and the value of your home, it greatly depends on how traditional it is in some way, in some way, shape or form.
Yeah.
We live here. We're down in Florida. So tile floors of some sort is more valuable here than all wood floors and other states.
I mean, some places obviously, but yeah. I mean, the wood look-alike tiles or whatever.
Oh, yes.
Those are like definitely
That's
popular.
golden here. That's golden. You're in a good spot here. But in other spaces, heated floors is a thing,
Yeah, you're not really going to need that so much in Florida.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, not here. They said, well, it was 40 degrees and we're like,
I know.
You got my long sleeve, long sleeve and a jacket. And
I know. It's like, getting up in the morning and my car reads 48 degrees and it's like we're all bundled up in jackets.
I'm shivering in the car. That's shaking.
And I like the cold. But yeah, when you live in a place like that, you get used to it. Because, we used to live in, Colorado. And I remember there was once where we were in like the negatives for a good while, or at least really cold. And then I looked at the temperature, and it was like 20 degrees. And I walked outside in my bare feet and my shorts. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so warm. 20 degrees was warm. I remember thinking like I must be insane because I think 20 degrees is warm.
But the dry heat thing, it kind of blew my mind because I was on the plane and like I described, my long sleeve and a jacket, and it's just me coming on a plane because I'm hearing, oh well, I'm going to Colorado. Like, well, I know it's cold, and yep, it was snowing yesterday. I better bring my thermal underwear. I get there, I look out the window of the plane. There is snow. I'm like, okay, red alert. This must be really cold. I get outside. I'm drenching in sweat. It is like the oddest thing. I'm seeing snow. There's snow on the ground. Why am I burning up inside? It is.
To me, the thing I think that boggled my mind the most when I was in Colorado, and anybody from southern humid states will definitely agree with me on this one. But, in Florida, whether you're in the shade or your sun, it's hot, in the summer.
Yes.
When I was in the summer, my very first summer there in Colorado, and, and like we were out in the sun, you're burning because, the dry heat like is horrible. The sun is just like, you're drenched in sweat. But I walked into the shade. I swear it dropped like 20 degrees.
Yes. This is not, it's not a fake. It's like you're on a different planet.
I know. It boggled my mind. Because I was watching other people do it and I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. Really the only difference you get in Florida when you walk into the shade is that the sun's not beating on you anymore, but it's not any cooler.
I think for the most part, like you can wear a jacket year round and it can make some sense because, if you're outside, you're in the shade, like, oh man, I'm freezing. Then all of a sudden you step outside, oh man, I'm hot. Then you step back into the shade, oh man, I'm freezing. So, and I remember being in a situation where I'm holding a jacket and taking back off and putting my jacket back on, taking back off. I'm like, oh, this planet is weird.
Right.
But anyway, going back on I guess the home improvement situation there, updating for I don't know, our belief in sticking with the traditional home. And I think that part of it needs to be shattered.
We've had obviously like conversations about tiny house and things like that. And we want to do that at some point. It's just not possible really with our current family situation and stuff. But, but still it's a minimalist kind of approach and concept. And I think society as a whole is changing. You see a lot more of that, like not just tiny house, but I don't know. I don't feel like, we
don't need a dining room. That's why there's where I'll put that in. So as we start going to more like a lot of houses have from their living room to now being called a family room.
Yeah. And they have like breakfast. You have your breakfast area and then you have your dining room. And then some places have formal dining rooms. Like, seriously, like for me, I like multi-use rooms, know, like I do not need a room that's just going to sit there bare, empty for no reason, collecting dust. Like, no, I'm good.
And if you think about like having the single multi-place room, let's say, especially for families, I'm not sure about the people who are out and about and single, or whatever. But for families, it makes a lot of sense because you all want to be in an earshot of each other in some way, shape, or form, especially if you have kids.
Definitely open concept homes have become very, very popular now.
Exactly.
Where they didn't necessarily used to be.
If they want to have their private life, they go to their room. If they're not in the room, they're in the public space, the family room. Yeah. Kitchen not too far off. I don't need a dining room area. I don't need a breakfast nook. And for the most part, I do want a big fence that covers up my backyard or some kind of privacy. Or I don't even need a backyard. It can just be rocks for all I'm concerned. I just want like, the main areas to be kind of be taken care of, and maybe one more room for a recording studio, so we don't have to have that problem we had yesterday.
Yeah, no, that was pretty bad, but yeah. So I don't know. This one was definitely a rambler of sorts episode.
Well, I think we kind of needed to at least one for the year end, and a little bit of a preview. I mean, a way to kind of do shout outs to our previous episodes out there. Yeah. Oh, wait, there's one more thing I want to add, and I feel ashamed because it's so far from our topic, but I don't want to talk about it extensively.
Okay.
So Sundar Pichai, I'm probably screwing up his name, from Google's CEO of Google, talked over at Congress. And just wanted to say this. My goodness, I sometimes fear the fact that our Commerce members on there, and it's not surprising, they're a bunch of old men and women, mostly men, who really don't get technology. But it's something sad to see where it happens too often where he was there for a reason, but it felt like they didn't understand the reason or even knew how to properly communicate that reason or their concerns. And they took a small problem that didn't need to get escalated that far up, and everybody else is kind of this new there. Because I think for a lot of us, we're millennials or younger, or for people who understand tech that's older, you were just wanting to scream the answers. If you watched part of it or seen clips of it, it's like, my son has an iPhone. This is Google. They don't make iPhones. Yeah. And then we call it, well, can they track me if I walk from one area to the other area? Like if you put your GPS on, yeah. Like we know these things. This isn't a new thing for a large chunk of us, but and trying to have them in an area where you're trying to justify their actions because maybe they have done something wrong. I mean, when something actually does go wrong, I could see CEOs in the future really seeing that I'm gonna get by with this because they don't have any idea what's really happening.
It definitely is a very dangerous thing, and it's and it happens a lot in society where like the generation that is in power isn't necessarily in tune with actually how things are going in the world. So that is a rough thing. I mean, and it's not even just about the Supreme Court, but even like judges in general. I mean, how many judges in just cities and counties and states, they run into things like that all the time where there's like something put in front of them that they don't understand, what's actually being said or being put out there, but they're having to make a decision based upon these things.
Oh, okay. Oh, not to go political.
School boards.
Not to go political, but I'm just using this as a reference. Privacy. It's a big internet issue. I think part of what they were trying to get to, but just didn't know how to communicate to CEO of Google was about privacy. Not about privacy, but about
even when Mark Zuckerberg, I mean that whole thing was about like,
that was privacy. That was about privacy. I'm getting them mixed up.
Well, they were different but similar.
Yes.
The way that the Supreme Court approached it, just like, I mean, it's just crazy. Like, he can't even answer the bare
basic questions or whatever. Like, so you're doing this, and like, no,
that's not us.
If you actually read like, the user statement, which again is a horrible answer, but at the same time, you're making it so bad of a case that you got to say he's right. Maybe you actually should sit down and read those things. And like most people kind of understand the gist of it, but you don't. I guess like one thing I would say with privacy is like, what they would think is, well, like let's say like nude photos and stuff like that, and people post some pictures of themselves of, okay, well, just don't do that. Just like, if you want to have privacy, just put a fence around yourself. But in this new day and age, that's not how that works anymore. You got, people can get stuff off your phone. People can get inside your internet. Between hackers.
The only way that you can protect yourself in today's society is to not do anything on the internet. But then, what do you like? Well, and then almost everybody does something on the internet nowadays.
But then, what does the government do to kind of defend against that? Like, that's a bigger issue. Like, oh, darn it, someone hacked me and saw me in my underwear, and I want to get this person back. Government,
if we can't even get beyond the simple questions of the difference between iPhone and Google and Facebook,
we
and
can't
all
do the
that.
bare basics.
If we can't get beyond that, how are we going to? How's the Supreme Court? Or anything going to approach the concept of policing the internet or, which is, it is a question. I mean, we have laws pretty much throughout the world, but the internet, its own complete world and worlds, doesn't have anything. And
it seems like for me and you and for the generation, who's coming up, who's grown in this era, what I find funny is that we need stuff in there now or the foundation for some of this stuff now. And there's always a lot of stuff wrong that's been happening. There's the issue with the dance thing, whatever, with the video
Fortnite,
games. Yeah. I mean, we're so behind in this that it's amazing. There was something else we were saying about, and I know I'm just rambling now, but when we were on the road, we saw the sign while saying warning white trailer or something like that.
Oh yeah, on the freeway they have these signs that'll say look out for certain cars and whatnot.
And I was thinking that's a horrible system.
Or congestion up ahead.
Yeah. I was thinking that's a horrible system. Let's say you gave that to Google, you gave that to Facebook, you gave that to any one of these big tech companies. Hey, I need to make sure that if there's a guy we flag that we can find him. Sure, quickly put together a system, quickly have every marked car, have a system in place that can recognize cars just by looking at them, and you can put okay, there's 4 going this road right now. I can see that very comfortably being done are by companies. And I feel like our government couldn't even fathom how to even get started on a project like that. Anyway, I want to throw that little note in there because, it was one of those tech things that was kind of bothering me this week. And wanted to just put it out there.
Yep. Well, either way, I don't even know. We definitely need to pre-record our episode for next week because we're not going to be recording for Christmas.
That's right. Oh my goodness. And we got to have a Christmas episode. We got to. Oh.
So we'll come up with something for that. Make it special. Maybe we'll make it less serious as we have had.
Well, if you want to hear more from us on any topics we talked about or have any interest, feel free to reach out to us at itcouple.podcast.com. Sorry, it was itcouplepodcast.com.
Yep.
There's a little form down there. You can send us email or email us directly at itcouplepodcast.
You want me to do it? Admin, ADMIN at itcouplepodcast.com. That's our email.
You're the social media marketer person to know about this.
Yeah.
Same as Facebook and Twitter and all those other ones on there. Whichever one you like, we'll get the message. And as we are coming to the close, I hope everybody is getting ready and got their shopping complete in some way, shape, or form.
Mine's not.
Fashion. If not, hurry up because it's going to get tight out there. Walmart starts building up in lines.
I'm horrible. I'm a horrible procrastinator. I am.
That's why I think you should become a midnight shopper. It's this is the best time to go there.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, take it easy.
See ya.